Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we gotta talk about somebody off the Texas top 10 wanted list who ended up killing somebody at a Sonic, the manager of a Sonic, over the fact that he refused to accept fake money from that person, and she decided that his life wasn't worth anything. Now, this was a long manhunt. The crime actually occurred on July 7th of this year, and for months, this person has evaded justice, but it turns out an effort which included a tip from a good member of the community ultimately ended up leading to her arrest. So I want to give credit where credit is due, but also talk about how disgusting this particular crime actually was, while pointing out that even though this person definitely wanted food, this is not an incident of an innocent Angel Aladdin who just killed somebody in order to feed their starving family. Now, we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
A task force arrested a 17-year-old fugitive wanted for killing a Sonic manager because he wouldn't give her food.
So right off the top, the first thing that interested me in this particular story was that opening line from this local news segment, and I immediately got hooked and thought that maybe we actually did have the rare instance of a starving innocent baby angel that just wanted to get some food in order to feed themselves because their life was so sad. But of course, that case will never actually come up. What actually ended up happening here is far worse, far more disgusting, but thankfully they were not able to elude justice for long, and now they are under arrest.
The murder happened over the summer in San Antonio. Police say the teen and an accomplice were denied food because they tried to pay with fake money, and so they say she opened fire and then took off to Dallas. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has details on her capture, and she's live outside the county jail where that woman is being held.
So this local news segment ends up cutting to an alleged reporter on the scene called Peyton Yeager, who is supposed to give you details related to the capture of this individual, and I will just point out a couple of things about Miss Peyton Yeager. First and foremost, Yeager is actually German for hunter, and maybe, just maybe, she's related to Frank Yeager, which is a joke that almost none of you will get, and if you do get it, write it down in the comments below. And secondly, Peyton Yeager obviously is a model that they just hired to be a reporter, so I don't know how trustworthy her reporting is actually going to be, because if you just give her the look, she has the look of a model. Let's be clear about that. That being said, there are some details that I actually want to give you from a New York Post article before we get into the capture of this particular case, because I think it's absolutely crucial. So the man who was killed in this particular instance is a guy called Daniel Shrewsbury. Now, you look at his photo, he looks very Latino, but the fact of the matter is, based on that last name, I can't place him. And on July 7th of this year, this guy, who again worked as a manager at Sonic, ended up getting confronted by 3 individuals, 2 women and a male, and they decided that they were going to try to pay for their food with fake money. He ultimately ended up refusing them.
Roberson and 2 others were denied food because they were using fake money.
However, he decided that he was going to take an extra step, which we will talk about later, which was to take a picture of the license plate before this girl, who was recently captured, ended up coming out of her vehicle and firing upon him. Now, he ultimately ended up dying from this. There were 3 shots, according to a witness who was in the drive-thru at the time of the shooting, and it was a very chaotic scene, to say the least. But I also want to point out that this 32-year-old man was just 13 days away from his 33rd birthday, and I'm going to link the New York Post article in the description of this. They actually have some commentary from his sister. He was the eldest of 3 siblings, and it's really gut-wrenching stuff, and there's also additional photos of him with his family, and it's just nasty to see. Obviously, this guy was well loved by his family. He seems to be a very nice uncle, but unfortunately, his life was taken away just because thugs didn't want to face accountability for their criminal actions.
Steve, and that teenager's name is Adia Roberson, and police believe Roberson went from San Antonio to Austin to here in Dallas, but it's still unclear how long she had been staying in Dallas. We do know a reliable tip led investigators to an apartment building off a Dallas highway.
Now, this is the third reason that I wanted to cover this particular story, and that's because a tip, somebody in the community who was aware of their surroundings, noticed this person from the Texas top 10 most wanted was in their community, called it in, and that ultimately ended up leading to an arrest, and hopefully can be the first step in justice for the family. Now, I'm also hopeful that the person who called in this tip called the Crime Stoppers hotline instead of 911, because as we've learned in the state of Texas, they actually use you calling 911 as a way to cheat you out of getting the reward money if any was available. And considering this tip was definitely legit, I want them to actually get the reward for that, not that this person probably even did it for the reward.
A teenager on the Texas 10 most wanted list was taken into custody at this Pleasant Grove apartment complex, part of a multi-agency operation. 17-year-old Adia Roberson was on the run for 3 months, accused of murdering a San Antonio Sonic manager. Tuesday, investigators learned Roberson was hiding out at the corner of Pleasant Drive and CF Hahn Freeway.
So this is the accused shooter in this particular case, and they show this image of her, and honestly, I don't like that they chose this particular photo of her because she's looking a little raggedy. She's looking a little down on her luck, and honestly, nobody should feel sympathetic for her at all whatsoever, especially when you see the photos of her prior to the shooting, especially when you see what this person looked like before the fugitive life and, the months on the run and all of that, because I think that is much more telling of who this person actually is. So this is Adia as she would have presented herself prior to being on the run. And as you could see, there are about 6 piercings, all of them terrible piercings, by the way, in her face, and those big, ridiculous eyelashes that she's wearing. Now, I highlight the way that this person looks for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, the bull nose ring, I don't understand it. Like, what are you doing out there, ladies? Why do you think that that's a good thing? Anybody who gets this needs to be told by anyone who loves them in their lives that it's a mistake. It never makes you look better. It makes you look ridiculous, and you shouldn't get it. But secondly, and this is probably the more crucial point, this woman is covering her face in ornaments. The idea that she's just down on her luck and she can't afford to eat is absurd on its face. And by on its face, I mean on her face, because she's clearly and obviously putting in a lot of money to look that way. In addition to that, those big eyelashes, which are also just insane that people actually wear them, are also pretty expensive. It is a pricey habit for these girls to keep up. So the fact of the matter is, this girl is the actual face of a criminal, somebody who thinks that a man's life is worth less than whatever sandwich that they were going to get from a Sonic. And that is the face of somebody who would rather pay for all this decoration on their face, all these ornaments across their face, than pay for the food that they actually want to eat. So again, this is the real face of a criminal right here, not the innocent baby angel Aladdin that is often portrayed to you by the mainstream media, by the woke media, and by left-wing activists out there in the world.
Around 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the U.S. Marshals North Texas Fugitive Task Force arrested Roberson in the parking lot. She was booked into the Dallas County Jail on the charges of murder and forgery.
Now look, for those of you who are curious about the charges, they're pretty straightforward. The murder is based on the fact that this was not only the person who participated in the underlying felony that ended up resulting in the death of an individual, but based on the fact that she was the trigger man according to the current reports. Again, it's all alleged right now. She hasn't been convicted, but this is why she's being charged with murder straight up, not some variety of felony murder. But the forgery charge, that's just what Texas ends up categorizing trying to pass a fake bill or counterfeiting. So it's just counterfeiting, but it falls under forgery under the Texas statute. That's why she's being charged with that.
On July 7th, San Antonio police say Roberson shot and killed 33-year-old Daniel Shrewsbury following an argument. Roberson and 2 others were denied food because they were using fake money.
So right off the top, I just want to point out that in this photo, this guy looks like Kyrie Irving. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying the resemblance is uncanny from this photo, but I also want to point out that he has an alliterated name, and that means that Kim Kardashian will be hot on his case in order to get him out of prison and probably get him a sneaker deal a la Julius Jones, Kenneth Keith, Kevin Cooper, and all these other people with alliterated names that kill people that Kim Kardashian can't wait to save. Also, I am not blind to the fact that this woman is not wearing shoes in this particular photo right here, but trust me, the fact that she's not wearing shoes does not make her an innocent bebe angel Aladdin that just needed to kill this guy in order to feed her starving family. She is a criminal, or at least accused of being a criminal, has yet to be convicted, but a crime was committed here, and we deserve justice for that crime, no matter the excuse, no matter the sorry, sad state of their lives. And by the way, there's a reason why I say he looks like Kyrie Irving in this photo, because I've actually seen the rest of this segment, and the resemblance immediately disappears when you actually hear this man talk and see him at a different angle.
Police say as Shrewsbury tried to take a picture of their license plate, 27-year-old Joshua Joseph told him he was going to get shot. That's when police say Roberson exited the vehicle and opened fire on Shrewsbury, who died on scene.
So like I told you earlier on, Shrewsbury tried to get a picture of the license plate. Again, a law-abiding person trying to capture evidence of the criminal. And this guy ends up saying, "You're about to get shot." And the girl comes out and fires on him, kills him over what? Again, a forgery charge is serious, but it's not that serious in comparison to murder. But that's the short-sighted kind of attitude that these criminals have.
Joseph was arrested in August and charged with murder. This August video was taken from the Fox affiliate in San Antonio.
None of that happened to me. I wouldn't wish him dead. Nobody.
But like I said, the Kyrie Irving thing totally drops off when you end up seeing this guy, and he's rambling nearly incoherently, but it sounds like he's trying to say this wasn't supposed to go down like that, or whatever. But if we actually are led to believe that what the police have told us so far is true, then it seems like he called out for this girl to take this shot and thus was a participant in the murder, and this happened exactly the way that he wanted it to go down. Well, maybe they just wanted to get the Sonic, but the fact of the matter is they were definitely okay with this murder, evidenced by the fact that this person apparently told him that he was about to get shot. Now, there are witnesses, according to the New York Post article. There was somebody in the drive-thru that heard the shots, but I'm not sure if they heard or who heard this exact statement, but I'm sure if they're saying it, then they might have something to back it up. But again, it's alleged at this moment in time. We don't have a conviction, so we have to wait for the results of the case. I'm just happy for the family that they can actually see the person that has been on the run for so long be arrested, and we can get the first steps to bring them to justice. In addition to that, this person was the shooter in this particular case, so again, it must be a double relief that this person ended up being caught.
And Roberson is still here tonight at the Dallas County Jail. She's waiting until she's transferred back to San Antonio. Her bond is set at $520,000.
Now look, normally I jump off the local news segment before we get to the end, but I did think it was important for you guys to understand that they gave her a serious bail in the state of Texas for this particular crime. $520,000 is no joke. Also, I wanted you to see Peyton Hunter so you could judge, based on what I said earlier, whether or not she did a good, solid, adequate job in reporting the story, despite the fact that she is clearly and obviously some kind of a model. So I'm going to leave the answering to that question up to you guys out there in the audience, but I'm also going to leave the story off to you to comment, give me your thoughts, and let me know what you think about this whole situation. Now, as per usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about somebody who committed a murder over a sandwich at Sonic, a burger probably. Till next time.